Everything you need to know. Captivating. Reliable.
President Mahama, who addressed a Debar of chiefs and people of
credible and breaking news. All at your fingertips.
Who's found Asamoah Gyan? Super finish!
Being on top of the news has never been easy. Visit us at www.3news.com for all your reliable news. 3 News, news at your fingertips.
(10 p.m. in Accra). Thanks so much for staying there. This is News at 10 on TV3. We're also live on 3FM 92.7 and on our affiliates across the country. My name is Bright Nananfo. Let's start with the day's major news highlights. A clash between Ogwa Hall and Atlantic Hall of the University of Cape Coast has resulted in the destruction of property. Rout erupted when students from Commonwealth Hall of the University of Ghana and Unity Hall of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology attempted to forcibly enter Ogwa Hall during the celebration of ATL Hall. That's the news from the University of Cape Coast. Now, 6 basic schools in the Kwawu East municipality have been closed down due to persistent attack from nomadic herdsmen. The situation is likely to affect the impending BECE, which is a month and a half away. We're told the residents are fleeing the community for fear of their lives. Kwawu East municipality there in the eastern region in the news. Fulani herdsmen causing havoc there. We'll take a deeper look at that story. Now, farming activities in the Oboyan community has halted due to reprisal attacks from Fulani herdsmen. The farmers say this will affect food supply from the area, as it is a major food supplier in that part of the country. The same municipality, Kwawu East there, that news coming from there. Fulani herdsmen causing a lot of havoc there. The police administration has begun a nationwide exercise to rid the motor traffic and transport department of undesirable elements and also revamp it for efficiency. Addressing the closing session of a junior command course at Winneba, the IGP, David Asante Apietu, maintained no image cleansing can be successful if the MTTD personnel were left to do their own thing. The police administration there working hard to rid the service of undesirables. That's what the IGP is talking about. Meanwhile, the IGP says his administration is ready to partner the president to create a new image for the service. According to him, there can be no democratic policing if cases are treated selectively. Meanwhile, the paramount chief of Ifutu traditional area, Nehi Gate VII, has counseled the president to ensure equity and stick to his words. The president there interacting with some officers from that area. And finally, a U.S. House Intelligence Committee will on Monday further investigate the extent of Russia's alleged meddling in the 2016 presidential election and President Donald Trump's claim that President Barack Obama had his phones tapped during the 2016 campaigns. That's from the U.S. there. Those were some news highlights on our network today. Grateful that you stay there. If you're watching us from Sunyani in the Bonafo region, if you are with us from Wa in the Upper East region, if you're watching us from Accra, this is News at 10. Let's start with a big one. start from the eastern region. Farming activities in Oboyan community in the Kwahu East municipality has halted due to reprisal attacks between residents and Fulani herdsmen. The farmers say this will affect food supply from the area as it is a major food supplier in the Kwahu East municipality of the eastern region.
Oboyan is a farming community in the Kwahu East municipality of the eastern region. Farmers produce plantain, cassava, pepper, groundnut, among other crops to feed the bigger markets in the area. Farmers cannot produce as they used to due to clashes and subsequent attacks from nomadic herdsmen. Residents lament they cannot produce to even feed themselves or sell to make a living.
My family and I are able to produce enough, but due to fear of the herdsmen, we leave them on the farms to rot. The herdsmen also cut the plantain and cassava for their cattle to feed on.
They need government intervention to find a lasting solution to the crisis at hand so they can return to their farmlands. We now go to our farms in groups and in the wee hours when the herdsmen are still in their homes. Unless help comes from government, it will be difficult for us to return to our farms.
We'll stay with this Fulani herdsmen issue because right there in that municipality, we're told that 6 basic schools have been closed down due to the persistent threat and attacks from nomadic herdsmen. The situation is likely to affect the impending BEC, which is about a month and a half away.
Incursions made by Fulani herdsmen in the Kwahu East municipality is a worry for indigents. Several schools in the municipality are currently closed due to threats by Fulani herdsmen. Some pupils of one of the affected schools, Oboyan Basic School, say they have stayed home for months. Goats and other stray animals have not taken over classrooms. Pupils are worried the development may affect them negatively as they prepare for their basic certificate examinations.
We are not able to go to school, and the teachers are also afraid to come and teach us, so we don't know what to do.
Parents who are extremely worried about the situation blamed the security agencies for not doing enough.
We are so worried that our kids are not in school because of the situation.
Fulani fui school fu abaye school no. Omu fin kura bebre wo nchen ha ne ba. Fulani fo no tata omu kwan munti ama awfo na so bie nya ne ba manemba.
Because of the activities of the Fulani herdsmen, parents have stopped their children from coming to school for fear of being killed. They have killed one of our kids.
Let's stay with this Fulani herdsmen attacks. Quite a worrying situation there. Let's speak to the Executive Director of the Bureau of Public Safety, Nanaya Akwada. He's just joined me via Skype. Nanaya, grateful for your time tonight. Let's start from here. How soft have we treated this Fulani herdsmen attacks on innocent citizens of communities across the country?
And I think that by and large, this, I don't know whether I should call it a phenomenon or this incidence of Fulani herdsmen, constantly coming in the news for all the reasons, the bad reasons, is something that must be checked. We all know it must be checked. The local security authorities have not demonstrated enough commitment and will towards giving this situation a lasting solution, and we think that it's about time the central government put its feet down there wherever the issue of Fulani herdsmen rears its ugly head. Now in the absence of this, we as a country stands to lose, because as we speak now, if it has been confirmed, it is our children, it is our women, it is our men who have come under attack. Their right to freedom of movement has been curtailed as a result of the activities of these Fulani herdsmen. I understand that the Fulanis, sometimes some of them, plying such trade within some also have some rights to do whatever they are doing as far as rearing their cattle is concerned. But it is important that we engage such people extensively and ensure that the lines are clear, that they cannot, curtail the rights of people who are living within communities where they have to, rear their cattle. Until that is done, we are going to have these incidents recurring every now and then. I think that it's about time Accra steps in there, and wherever Fulanis are, we must have the eyes and the hands or boots from Accra right there on the floor, on the ground, so that we can have some sanity in the system. Because in our opinion, since the issue of Fulani herdsmen reared its head, the local authorities, security authorities, have not demonstrated enough commitment and will to, as it were, contain or neutralize such activities.
Nana, you said that it should be checked, and you are suggesting that central government should step in. But the others have argued that dealing with this menace does not mean that we should drive them away, and rather they argue that we should find a way to ask them to obey rules and regulations wherever they operate. Where do you stand? Drive them away, or perhaps get them to behave properly?
Well, absolutely. I think I made that clear in my earlier suggestion that most of the Fulanis who are rearing their cattle, applying what their trade, permit me to use the word trade, most of them are third, fourth generations of Fulanis who probably have Ghanaian citizenship. So it's about time that we engage them, give them very strict guidelines which that when they flout, we can hold them accountable, and strictly so. We cannot say out of the blue drive them away. Of course, we can also, as it were, introduce certain, if you like, discriminated regimes of rules that, okay, because of what is going on, we are going to disagree. We are going to agree that if you do not hold a Ghanaian citizenship, you cannot bring cattle across any borders into this country to come and rear your cattle. That is one. Then we can move on to the next step to say, if you are found or you are caught or you are identified as violating the rights of indigents where you are rearing your cattle, this and this and this is going to happen to you. And such laws must be stringent, they must be harsh, and they must be deterring enough. If we don't do that, we are going to nurture this Fulani herdsmen issue, and one day it's going to blow up in our face where whole communities will be overtaken by herdsmen and people's rights will be curtailed, unconstitutionally, and we are going to see something coming up that will be very, very ugly that we do not know. Because if the state fails to protect these villages, if the state fails to protect territories and rights of people, people are going to take the laws into their own hands, and I think that we don't have to get there. The issue of these Fulanis is long standing issue that I think that
we should deal with.
We handled it, yes.
The last time it happened in Agogo, there were calls by even some of the people who keep cattle that the cattle ranching law be passed by Parliament to help regulate the way these herdsmen move about. Sure, you support that, but it doesn't show that perhaps government isn't serious about dealing with it, because if there were calls for the cattle ranching law to be passed and it has not been passed, how does it show government is simply toying with the whole thing?
Well, right, I've been in this business for quite a while, and I have seen or heard, we ourselves have called for certain laws to be passed. I've heard a lot of the media itself calling for certain laws to be passed. I think that when it comes to laws in Ghana, it is good if they are passed, but the point still remains that if government is committed to a cause, it wouldn't necessarily need a law. I mean, this is a matter of public order. We do not really need a law to get people to desist from, if you like, threatening the rights of people to move, the rights of people to go to school, rights of people to carry out legitimate business. We do not need new laws. But yes, of course, it would be nice to have a cattle ranching law or whatever law so that everybody knows where the lines are drawn. But until that is done, I think that we should start some jojoing. We should begin to move towards a reasonable approach of getting people to behave in such a civil manner, because there's no point in you driving cattle through someone else's farm, knowing very well that it's a farm, and when they raise issues, you follow them up with canes and whips and guns and machetes. There's really no point. It just doesn't make sense, and we don't have to come to all the way to the House of Parliament to go and tell somebody to put down his machete and that he's on another person's land, and he must, abide by common sense rules.
Okay.
That guide of society.
Let's wrap up on this. Now that it looks like the regional security committees, the district security committees are unable to deal with it, central government is yet to step in and ensure law and order. What should residents in these communities do to protect themselves?
Well, I think it's very important. Grandma's advice, that is, you don't go out alone. It's important that they move in twos and threes and so on and so forth. And they must also watch their back at all times, because if it is true, the news that we are picking, that sometimes these guys attack without provocation, they attack on sight, then I think that they are in such a difficult situation. And much as we want to advise the people there to be careful, to be wary where they move and when they move, it is important that the central government steps in as soon as possible. I mean, they should have stepped in a week ago, because I heard clearly in your tapes that people said they've not gone to school for some time now, which means they have, brought about some level of anxiety, fear in the people. That should not be. So it is important that the central government, with immediate effect, moves in to restore sanity, they move in to assure public safety and ensure that life goes on normal, because as you have indicated, there's also a food basket. And so when the people there are threatened, it ends up threatening the whole nation. And that is the sense of urgency we would expect the government to attach to this.
Now, I'm grateful for your time tonight. Nana Akwada is the Executive Director of the Bureau of Public Safety there, talking to me about what's happening in the Kwao East municipality of the Eastern region. We're told that 6 basic schools have been closed down. Fulani herdsmen attacking residents there. There is fear of reprisal attacks. The police would need to move in there and check and ensure there is law and order. This is News at 10. Grateful you stayed there till now. It's just about some 18 minutes past the hour of 10. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll tell you what's happening in Cape Coast, because we're told there are some disturbances at the university there. Some students have been injured, property destroyed. We'll tell you more about that later on.
It's Talented Kids Season 8. We bring you performances from 23 of our best and brightest kids from across the country. Our contestants have to do more than go on stage and display their skills. They have to capture the crowd, woo the judges, and most of all, win the heart of the nation. Remember, there's a 10,000 Ghana Cedi cash prize and a 6,000 Ghana Cedi educational fund up for grabs for our eager competitors. Make a date with us this and every Sunday at 4 p.m. on TV3 and watch as our contestants show how worthy they are of the top prize. Talented Kids, free to play.
Talented Kids is brought to you by Heaven Insecticide Spray and Mosquito Coil, and Napa Mackerel, Indomie, Cowbell, Our Milk, Mada Powdered Soap, Pepsodent, Blue Band Margarine, First Bank Financial Services, Royal Drinks, Jack and Jill Hussein, Diamond Baby Diapers, and Sandra Ice Cream.
Business, the heartbeat of every economy. The booze and the chairs of the stock market shows who's making profit and who's crumbling under the harsh business environment. On Business Focus, we crowd out the noise for you to make informed decisions on your investment. I'm Pakwisi Asare and I talk business.
Business Focus, Mondays 6 p.m. only on TV3.
Brought to you by Asad Tech Roofing, Acacia Health Insurance.
A news anchor with style
and professionalism
must be someone you can trust, someone you can relate to,
someone you can bond with, and with real experience.
That is who we are.
That is who we are.
That's who we are. That's who we are.
Welcome back to News at 10. Now let's get to the central region. A clash between Ugwa Hall and Atlantic Hall of the University of Cape Coast has resulted in the destruction of property. Riots erupted when students from the Commonwealth Hall of the University of Ghana and the Unity Hall of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology attempted to forcibly enter Ugwa Hall during the celebration of ATL Hall Week at Cape Coast. We're told that a number of students were injured in the process.
Atlantic Hall, as part of its annual week celebration, invited residents of Unity Hall and Commonwealth Hall from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and the University of Ghana. The clash allegedly started after the two foreign halls made attempts to enter the Ugwa Hall upon their arrival at about 10 p.m. but were denied entry by students of the hall. What began as an exchange of words between Ugwa Hall on one hand and the three other halls on the other turned into throwing of stones, causing injury to several students and smashing windows of vehicles as well as doors of Ugwa Hall JCRC offices. The police came in with the firing of tear gas to disperse the teams. Some students who suffered minor degrees of injury are receiving treatment at the university hospital. Attempts to speak to officials of the University of Cape Coast have proved futile.
We'll tell you more about that story there from Cape Coast later on. But now, Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority is to collect 14 billion cedis, representing approximately 40.23% of the total tax revenue of 34.5 billion cedis for 2017. The authority plans to achieve the target through blocking leakages and widening the tax net.
The Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority has moved away from using the commissioner's value to the price actually payable method since 1992. It has moved from the use of single administrative documentation in the computer room to declaration through the Ghana Customs Management by GCNet system. The Customs Division is now into classification, valuation and risk management to increase revenue.
We have done all these with one aim: to ensure that we can do business at the convenience of our traders. We do not want our traders to come and suffer to be in order to pay their taxes, but then they should have the convenience, even sitting in their rooms elsewhere, to pay the taxes that we desire to collect from them. And we have as a group have been part of this process of modernization throughout the 25 years of existence.
At the launch of the 25th anniversary of the SEPS Course 1 and 2 92 in Accra, Commissioner of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, John Vianney, stated new operational strategies have been introduced to achieve target, including blocking leakages.
If we still use the same old processes, I'm afraid we might never get the target that has been set for us, blocking leakages in the ports. And it is those of us at the ports who must take very active interest in what they say. We all admit that we have failures in our systems, but the human failure is more dangerous than other failures. So we must challenge ourselves to ensure that we do things that are appropriate and backed by law.
Technical advisor to the Commissioner General of the GRA, Christian Soti, indicated the strategy identify avenues for leakages, bridge gaps, and recommend areas to be explored for revenue generation.
The customs and the imported levies and so on imported goods. Those ones we can identify the goods as they come and the proper classification made and evaluation, and then follow up to the collection of the taxes and duties that are on them. If you come to the local, we have to identify companies and individuals who are supposed to pay taxes and are not declaring the right amounts, and those who are not paying at all. And those are the areas we are going to look at so that we can be able to make everybody contribute his share to the national development.
Earlier, the customs officers went on a health walk and engaged in some aerobics. The anniversary is on the theme 25 years of dedicated service in revenue mobilization and custom modernization, challenges and prospects.
Poor sanitation is a worry for many governments, and efforts have been made to rid the city of filth, but that have not achieved any result. Now, choke gutters have been the cause of flooding, killing many in the process.
Sanitation sector in Ghana faces a number of challenges, including very limited access to sanitation. Per UNICEF, 3 out of 5 Ghanaians practice open defecation, adding that Ghana could take 500 years to eliminate the practice due to the slow pace at which strategies, laws and interventions are being implemented. Walking down the streets of Accra, you are overwhelmed by all the trash that litters the city. To help deal with sanitation challenges in Medina, a suburb of Accra, students of mental and other health institutions in Accra, in collaboration with the Lankwantana Municipal Assembly and Zoom Lion, embarked on a sanitation and health education exercise. Registrar of Nursing and Midwifery Council of Ghana, Felix Nyante, advised the residents to keep the environment clean as a preventive health measure.
As some of us are actually desilting the gutters, others are engaging the shoppers and the shop owners and the traders and the sellers in health education, basic personal and environmental hygiene, so that we can prevent diseases and illnesses. We think that if we spend just a little effort in health prevention, health promotion exercises, we'll prevent a lot of diseases and we'll spend less in curative health services.
He was also worried about the recent incident of suicide in the country.
Because the mental health nursing school is involved, they are engaging the shoppers and the shop owners in basic mental illness education. We go through a lot of stress and people think that ending their lives is the solution. But suicide, they are telling people that it's not the option.
Some residents at Medina Zongo Junction have this to say.
So we've been doing it. It's about people don't really partake in it. The former government also had these AMA people who do it almost every day, but they've stopped. I don't know.
Normally Saturday is our market day. And nobody can leave his job and come and do gutter cleaning and those kind of things. So if something like that will be going, it needs to be announced, so especially to the houses, so that we get to know that maybe we need to come out to work to do something. But it seems that they only speak to those who are in the stores. So sometimes we in the house, we don't know something like this is going on.
We appeal to the government to construct the gutters for us. When it rains, our homes get flooded.
And we're grateful that you stay there to be part of the show. Those of you who watched us from across the country and beyond, thanks so much for joining us. And also to my team in here, Nana Bwaje, Manassas, Theophilus Clotty, James Tete, Albert Mensah, and Ben Mensah, and also Gideon Tete. The producers, Salom Amenya and Ebenezer Ejekumbuachi. My show director was Brenda Dugan. My name is Bright Nanamfo. Have a great Saturday evening and stay right here on TV3. Good night.